Hello, welcome to HowToGuru.Club podcast created by Dan Grijzenhout. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan Grijzenhout talking to you again. This is the 7th video in my series about entrepreneurship and retirement. And today I want to talk to you about consulting disciplines, which is a drill down from the Forms of Entrepreneurship presentation that I did just a little while ago. In here I will quote a few numbers with respect to what kind of wage expectations you can have as a consultant. Do remember that when I'm talking about how much you can earn per hour here, it is different than how much you can earn per hour as an employee, because you do get to deduct your business expenses from what you earn as the gross wage, whereas as an employee you cannot do that. And I did a presentation that discussed that in depth a while back as well, if you want to refresh your memory on that difference. In any event, I'm starting off with some of the more higher value consulting disciplines that are out there, and I want to drill down on those just a little bit. Let's start with business and information technology consulting. These are the two highest paying types of consulting out there with respect to direct exchanging of time for money. In terms of business consulting, at the highest end of all, you have business strategic planning, rollout strategy development, business process design, business process re-engineering. These kinds of activities can engender, in the $100 plus per hour range plus expenses. Business performance consulting, KPI metrics development, measurement, ISO certification, Six Sigma, those types of consulting engagements, you're probably in the $70 to $90 an hour range. Business disruption planning, disaster recovery planning, product design, product rollout planning, starting to go down a little bit in the value. However, another big one at the bottom end, usually done under contract, is going public, and also the raising capital. Those two items are usually done as high-end engagements, or as in the case of raising capital, there you're looking at probably taking a percentage of the amount of money raised on behalf of the corporation. So that can become significant, totally outside the range of money for time. Information technology consulting, well, programming core application systems, website development, most of those consulting gigs will get you in the $60 to $90 an hour range, occasionally over $100 if you're extremely good, extremely senior, more of an architect than a developer. Graphic arts world, well, you're in the 40 to 60 range. Network device management, database development, management and support, all of these are in the 60 to the 100 region in most instances. Interface development the same. And probably the big money one is down here at the bottom, which is strategic planning, architecture, strategy development. The architecture types of work in information technology can run you in the $100 range and greater, even the $150 to $200 range for some very serious efforts for major corporations. You can command that kind of return if you have the qualifications. Moving on to financial consulting, there you're looking at projects like bookkeeping services, probably $30, $40 range. Tax consulting, now you're in the 100 plus. Government grants, preparation, submission, the SR&ED grants, which is scientific research and experimental development grants that are offered in Canada. There you can be in the 100 and a quarter, 100 and a half range. Payroll management, accounts payable, accounts receivable, banking, again the 40 to 60 range. Marketing consulting, that can vary. It depends on who you are, what your qualifications are, and what the actual level of work you're doing. If you're doing enterprise-wide marketing plan development, that can definitely put you in the $100 plus range. The advertising development, probably 60 to 100. Advertising creation, you're 40 to 80 maybe. And product preparation, again, in the 40 to 80 range. Human resource consulting is another discipline that I see some very significant consulting rates. More in the higher ends, like organizational planning, business structures, resource structure definition, span of control, matrix organization development. There's where some of the money is there. Conflict resolution management at the bottom, human resource violations. They're more in the lower end, 60 to 80 range. Staffing and recruitment, there you're probably getting a percentage or a deal on every person placed into a position. So that's not really tied to time for money. That just depends on how good you are. Labor relations, contract negotiations, that's more of a higher end position, $100 plus. Benefits, compensation planning, performance monitoring, salary wage, that's all in the 40 to 80 range. Travel consulting, again, this is mostly done on a percentage of trips booked, so as opposed to a straight per wage payment. Unless you're in certain situations where you're doing document creation and things like that, then you might be in the 25 to 50 range. But most of these, you succeed, you get paid. You don't succeed, you don't. So you're looking at doing trip bookings, flight, cruise, hotel bookings, destination planning, passport, travel documentation, preparation, submission, lodging and accommodation services. Sometimes you can actually make a bit more of a spin when you're looking at tour development and marketing and management of tours. So you create your own tour. Usually you get paid there by getting a free trip or two on top of things and maybe a few dollars. Going down into more of the blue collar or the more of the hands-on type of consulting, and here I'm just picking one example, being nursing and home care. There are many more, like cleaning services and things like that. Here you're in the lower monies. You're in probably the 35 to 60 range for all these types of services, depending on your, like in nursing, if you're an LPN or a registered nurse, you might be up and around the $75 range for your services as opposed to, say, $45 for an LPN. But the point here is, in the initial stages of this, you're not going to make a lot of money. You're going to do better than you would as an employee. But here your best path to making good money is to build your own business, build your credibility, build your client base, and then start to hire people under you that you can take, maybe like a 20% overcharge on and become more of a placement service than doing the work yourself. So that's where you're leveraging yourself to earn more money by having the contacts and building the business. And so that comes over time. It's not a day one thing. Closing comments on this. Well, your life-earned skills are what are going to lead you down the path that will bring you the most money as a consultant. You need the experience in order to sell yourself, because bottom line, people hire consultants when they're looking for skills above and beyond or outside the skills of their existing staff, or only if they have situations where there's just a whole bunch of work that has to be done on a short-term basis. They'll pull someone in from the outside. So those are the kinds of scenarios. You either know more or they're in a crunch. So before embarking on a consulting career, be sure to prepare for it by doing certain things. Create what you need in terms of templates such as proposals, non-disclosure agreements, checklist tools, template deliverables, etc. if you're doing any of the white-collar forms of consulting. The more you've readied beforehand, the better the quality of the deliverables you can create for your clients, and the less strain it's going to be for you to create them. Remember, now that you're an independent, you don't have a whole team backing you up, and you don't have a whole bunch of corporate methodologies and tools to rely on. You're relying on what you bring to the table. So know your markets and target clients. That's important as well. Understand how much you can charge for an hourly rate for what you do, and how much you can charge for the travel and related expenses. Make sure you always cover yourself on the expense side, or that you make sure your expenses are, if not covered as an individual negotiation item, that you've covered them in your day rate so that you're not going to sell yourself short. Seek some form of upfront retainer for expenses where possible if you're doing out-of-town work. There have been many situations where consultants have gone out on a job, and for one reason or another the client chose not to pay them. Consultant will send out the expenses as well. So if you can, especially if you don't know the client, try to build in a front-end allowance for expenses before you get on site. It is much easier for you to eat your time lost than it is for actual money you've spent on your credit card. Many of these consulting paths are difficult to get started at first, so you may want to consider continuing on with your salary job in the short term. Consulting's not for everyone. Wait till you build something up, make sure you like it before you pull the plug on a career that you might have that is paying your bills. So it's something to consider, but when you're sure you can make it work, it can be a very rewarding experience for you. Thank you again for listening. Bye for now. If you like the content that I'm creating, be sure to visit my website at howtoguru.club. That's HOWTOGURU.CLUB. You can also sign up to receive my hints and tips newsletters and gift downloads at howtoguru.club/signup.htm. Howtoguru.club is a free training site I've built to help people wanting to build or improve their home-based businesses. So be sure to take a look around the site and add my site to your list of favorites for future reference. New content is appearing there regularly. See you soon. Bye-bye.